It is so nice to be talking to you, Gia, today. Could you please introduce yourself and what do you do for business?
Hello, so my name is Gia Arianne, and I'm a transformational coach, speaker, and I'm also an entrepreneur and a nurse.
Oh, yeah, that's amazing. So let's go with our first question. What are the limiting beliefs and the childhood programming?
So basically, limiting beliefs are those belief systems that we've taken in when we were, most of them probably when we were young, and then now it has affected us from not being able to reach our goals. They hold us back and they keep us stuck in the same place or situation, or sometimes even emotional patterns that we don't realize that we are in that area. And childhood programming comes in play when, for example, when we're around years like 7 years old and below, those are the times that our brain is very active and we absorb a lot of things. And I'm sure you can remember that when you were young, you just learn everything, and the growth is very, very fast. And then during that time, we then take in most of the things that we hear, even if some of those tell you that you cannot do it, you cannot achieve that, or like, for example, some people have limiting beliefs with, like, when you go through with arts, then you won't be having enough money when you go old. You won't be successful. So, all of those things. Or like money is blank. Like a lot of people would have an answer with about money. So those are the types of programming and limiting beliefs.
Nice. So how do you decide or how do you determine the needs of your trainees? And what is a holistic approach?
So, for example, we would go through a process of answers and questions and answers, rather, not the other way around. So, questions that would then determine them what areas in their life they want to improve, and what do they want to achieve. And in terms of the holistic approach, it means that we encompass the areas of the person, like the health and fitness, growth, spirituality, purpose. All of those areas would be included, and so many more, and not leaving one point we're in. For example, you would separate career from finances, because a person can be very, very good in their career, but financially they are not able to sustain financially, or they might not know about things like passive incomes and other things. So yeah, that's the holistic approach of the totality of the person.
Okay, the next question is why are honesty and rapport important in your business?
So honesty is very, very important I think, in a lot of areas in life, but mostly in that, because you're dealing with another person's life and you're sharing and connecting, and so then you have to build rapport as well, because sometimes when you don't get the answers that you want, it's only because you haven't really connected yet, and there's not that you're not yet that comfortable with telling the things, and then the truth should come out. Because if you then leave the truth out, how would then you be able to give the proper construction of the plan of actions afterwards? So that's why both of those are important components.
So the next idea is how do you reinforce or enhance the trainee's sense of control?
So a sense of control, normally we lose that when we fall into a pattern. So some of the people might recognize this, but Tony Robbins called it like the circle of eight. So one good way in order for people to know would be first awareness, because once a person is aware, then they'll be able to realize that there are things around this that can be changed. So first thing is awareness, and awareness can be developed through a lot of things like meditation, breath work, and being introspective rather is a very good approach as well, where you think of your thoughts in a way that it's neutral. You don't add into the negative thoughts more, and you don't go to that loophole. So that's one good thing. So awareness is the first step. And then once you're aware, then the second step would be to change the emotional state, to change the pattern, or to change the belief. And most of the time, people think that they're out of control is because they cannot change within them, change around them, and they forget that the things around them can also be influenced by themselves. So a good example would be from emotional state of I'm sad, I'm frustrated and angry. So you can see like the physiology is different, the focus is different, the language is also different. So one of those or all of those, you change that, you then let them know that you can change. So for example, I learned in NLP, so you just clench everything and just think of something happy and then start to smile, and then you then start to go into a different emotional state. Then try to be angry again, then you'll be like, it's quite hard because you've already changed your physiology and your focus and your patterns. So that's one good example.
Yeah, okay, let me ask you this question. Like you are a coach and then someone like a businessman or someone who is successful will call you and they will need your help. So like they have had enough strong beliefs in their life. They are aware of where they can succeed and where they can fail. They have established a business. What kind of ability do you have to change these strong beliefs and awareness inside these people?
That's a good thing though, because a lot of people have that strong belief in them. And most of the time, it's only about making them realize what are the areas of their life do they want to improve. Because clearly they ask and seek for guidance because there are areas that are not working anymore. So in that sense, you then show them what the pattern is. So you go through the process of asking them what's happening and what's going around, and you'll be able to take them into that adventure of really seeing, okay, I've been doing this. Because most of the time people can be successful, as you say, and be a businessman and really have so much, but then they forget to have social connectedness, or they forget to have more time with the family, and then they don't realize, oh, why am I feeling like this? I'm okay, I have everything, but then they forgot to realize. So it's always just making them aware. And the strong belief, um I think all people have strong belief, but once you are open and once you seek for help, then that's already a start, because that strong belief now is being challenged by seeking help.
Yeah. Is coaching a feasible business model?
So for the moment, a lot of people are saying that according to Forbes, it's going to be a $2 billion industry. So it always depends, and who knows, but that's what I've heard.
Mhm. Okay, that's very interesting. We hope the best for you. Okay, now now you are interacting with people from different fields of life. What did you learn about people as a person?
People as a person, we all have the same desires, the same beliefs. I mean, it becomes in different shapes, colors, or sizes, or gratitude, but um, it always comes back to the point that we seek approval. We seek that need to be connected with people. We seek that need to have contribution to other people. So the primary aspects of life is always the same across the border. It may be given in a different cultural or traditional way, or maybe it's a little bit more conventional, but it's always the same, like the root of it, like what we want, what we need more than anything.
Great. Like if you build hopefully a great business for coaching, what is the main concept you are building your business around?
The main concept is that we have to remember that love and kindness is always the way to go around with people, because that's my main thing why I'm doing what I'm doing, because we tend to become we don't give too much love when we feel that we don't have enough, when we are at that place where something's not going right and something's out of control. Then that's the time normally that we treat other people not optimum. So, and it's not your fault and it's not my fault, it's not like, it always can be changed. So that's my main goal of it, because if we are nicer to other people, then people would be nicer to other people, and it will just be, a better community and a better society. So
Let
that's
me ask
me.
you, yeah, let me ask you quite a challenge, some kind of question. Like, is
Yes.
coaching about having the skill, or is it about being famous, having done something
Sorry.
important in your life? No, it's okay. Should I repeat the
I could,
question?
yes, yes, I heard the question.
Yeah.
So that is a very good one. And a lot of people would have two answers to this. And I would be blunt and honest with it. If I would be already at a position wherein it's very like a high position, I would say yes, because I've done this and you can model it. But the another way for people to approach this is that we all have to remind ourselves that the greatest athletes, the greatest boxers, and the greatest people around there, they have coaches. But do we know those coaches' names? And most of the time, no. And like great boxers were coached by people who know how to make them great boxers, but not necessarily they were champions themselves. So in that sense, it always comes to the point of, if that person gives you the result that you want, then you then are able to have a good coaching partnership.
Yeah.
That's
Let me yeah, let me rephrase the question in a more difficult way. Like, if you
Mhm.
give, yeah, if you have the recipe for someone else's business, for someone else's life to get better, where is the recipe for your own life?
Yes. So that is very good. Exactly. So in that sense, definitely, it would definitely reflect. So you always have to seek on someone's life. I know what you mean. Like, probably some people don't have their life together and then they start to tell other people what to do. And at the end of the day, who knows? Because a lot of people that go out there and are successful, you don't even know if they have hidden some things that are not going that well behind the scene. So in the end, for me, I would still stick to the first option, wherein if that person gives you the result that you want, then, not necessarily that person is passing on to you. Like, for example, if we're, okay, like, for example, finance consultants, are all finance consultants or business consultants have businesses already by themselves? And we can say not 100%. So why do we still go to them? And it's still the same thing, because they know the ins and outs of things, but not necessarily they have done it themselves. So that's kind of like where things are really on the gray line. And for me, my advice to people is always, if that person gives you the results, then good. But if not, then of course you have to then think again and maybe find another solution.
Yeah, very interesting. What tools and techniques do you use?
So some of the tools that I use would be part of NLP, some would be audio meditations, and also some exercises that we go through together.
Could you explain more about what you mean by NLP?
So NLP is neuro linguistic programming. So we deal with how, well, basically what I've explained earlier, like, because neuro linguistic programming comes with, there are things that we perceived outside, and then it comes translated internally, and then that became a programming. Either it becomes a belief, a system, or a value, or a habit, or a skill that we have. So all of those are part of it, and we then try to go around and see where is it not working anymore. And sometimes it may even be on the deeper part of it, which is the identity that you have within yourself.
Mhm. Okay.
So that's the NLP. Hello. Oh.
Yeah, very nice. Can we move to the next question? So, how do you help the trainees to detach the limiting beliefs? Again?
So there are several ways you can do that, and some of them would be coming from the audio brain retraining. So you then hook into that theta level. There's this meditation that you go through, and then it taps into that deeper level of your brain waves, which in theta level, and that then will be enhanced to have a different kind of belief. And normally during those audio meditations, you would have affirmations that are in them. In that sense, the main component of it would be affirmations, number one. And affirmations, there are two ways around to go with it as well. The normal and the most common way is to say, I am blank, I am blank, I am love, I am great, and I am abundant with money or time. So those are the usual way. The not so famous way is to say why. So some say that when you go about, say, asking yourself, why am I resilient? Then your brain starts to give you answers why you are resilient. Then if you say, I am resilient, your brain starts to figure out why you're not resilient. Then it starts to go in. So that's one thing, affirmations. And then you can go about by gratitude as well, because most of the time limiting beliefs are rooted deeply in the subconscious. And when you see it, when you try to journal it as well, you would see that most of the time it's because we feel that things are not enough, or things are out of control, and things are not the way that I want it to be, blah, blah, blah. And then when you start doing gratitude, you become at that state of awareness that things are going well, things can be done better, and things can be within your control. So those are the two ways that you can detach limiting beliefs.
So, let's say, like, one way is like self probing or self questioning, the other way is self challenging.
Yes, exactly. So the other ways, yes.
Yeah, like sometimes you need to push yourself outside your comfort zone or outside your usual universe or something. Yeah, okay. So let's move to the next question. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, yes, I'm
Yeah,
listening.
yeah, great. What are the self-sabotaging patterns?
So self-sabotaging pattern, we touched a little bit earlier, and some of them would be, for example, you go into a loop of depression or anger, or frustration and anger, or self-pity and frustration. So it's mostly negative states that are not enabling you to reach what you want and to do the things that you want to do. And with that, usually the pattern goes in a way that they're both negative. One is a little bit better than the other in a sense that it has a more empowering control. Like for example, when you see a person who's depressed versus a person who's angry, the one who's angry, the physiology would be a little bit out there. Like, wait, I'm angry, but don't mess with me like that. But when you're depressed, you're like everything hunchback, and you're like you can throw anything and they'll be depressed. So those are like the two. When those are patterned, then it becomes self-sabotaging because you're not able to go out of it. because what will happen is from one state you go to the other state because you want to protect that first state.
Yeah,
So
very nice.
that's
Yeah, good. Like, let's say sometimes we have like hidden beliefs or unknown beliefs or unfelt beliefs that, yeah, stop us from trying to reach where we want to. Okay?
Yes.
Yeah, great. Let's go to the next question. What are coping mechanisms and how do you know which serves us best?
So coping mechanisms are our way of coping with a situation, especially most of the time when it's something stressful. It can be through ignoring it, withdrawing from the situation. Sometimes people become aggressive, or sometimes people regress to an earlier stage of their life. Or suppress it, like totally not remember it at all. So those are some examples of coping mechanisms.
Right.
And
Yeah,
what was
good.
your second question?
Yeah,
Sorry.
like which one
I
of
was
them
like,
helps us best?
hello?
Go ahead.
Yes, we're back.
Yeah.
All right. So um well, it always depends on the situation if it can help you or not. It's because some of this can be helped, like for example, when there's a really dangerous situation, of course, fleeing from it would be a perfect coping mechanism. Or when a person is toxic in a toxic relationship and that person's coping mechanism is to leave and not withdraw from that situation. So in that sense, it is helpful. But if it's, for example, that you a partner are just talking to each other and the other person withdraws from the tension because of not wanting to talk about the difficult situation, then that's something that's a little bit different. So in those sense, you'll be able to see which one can be helpful and which one cannot be.
Let's speak about you as a person. Like now you are coaching. Like, do you need other business skills? Have you studied certain marketing models? Have you done other studies to help you with your main career or main job?
Yes, so I did study a bit of it, and some of it were mainly for marketing, and they talked through us about how you do marketing through Facebook and organic and non-organic, how to build funnels, and also how to do some webinars and such. So yes, definitely, I would recommend other people to do it as well because it's a faster way for everyone to gain skills.
Okay, now you are still like, let's say, not an old businesswoman. You are a young businesswoman and starting your business. What kind of advice and recommendations would you give other people who are starting their careers? Like, what kind of choices, what kind of mentalities, what kind of thinking should they develop?
That whatever age and experience you have, you can always learn. That's fundamentally it. Because most of the time, people, when they reach a certain age, they think that, oh, I would not be able to learn anymore, or I know everything, then that stops them from learning what's new and what will come. Because you never know, even if someone's younger, like maybe a teenager would teach me something, then yes, by all means, because maybe that person knows the skills, even if, for example, length of experience as well. Sometimes, yes, it can help, but always be open for new learning because maybe a person has a more effective solution and a more effective skill, even though that person has only been in the industry for a short while. So for me, it's always being open, even until I have been in this industry for a very long time. Always keep an open mind.
Very nice. Now I have finished my questions. What else would you like to add?
So for me, it's mainly, yes, we all have to seek, self-improvement and really develop ourselves in a way that we can bring up that, bring all everyone up with our families, with our friends, and support each other. And mainly that's the main component of why I'm doing what I'm doing. And and I'm sure you are as well, it's to spread everything around the world and really give more to people. So that's basically it.
It has been a great pleasure talking to you, Gia, today. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much as well.